Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey, welcome to Daily Dose Radio. This is your home for artisanal Bible study that's organic and fresh. And let me remind you that we have an iTunes app and an Android app that's available for download. It's free. If you want the iTunes app, you just go to the App Store, and you can find Daily Dose Radio there, and it's free download. You get it for your phone or any other iTunes application. Also, in the Google Play Store, you can find the Android app. Just look for Daily Dose Radio, and you'll find it there free. You can download it for your Google devices, your Android devices. And it's by way of these apps, actually, that Daily Dose Radio is heard around the world. We're listened to in the Philippines, New Zealand, Australia, Russia, the United Kingdom, and France, South America, Central America, and the United States by way of these apps. So if you have an Android device or an iTunes device, go out and get the app. It's free, and you'll have Daily Dose Radio right there at your fingertips. We're looking at Psalm 83 all this week, and it begins with the introduction or the superscript. It says it's a song, a psalm of Asaph. That's all we have, and so the historical background is questionable here. Some have said that this is the same time as 2 Chronicles chapter 20 in the reign of Jehoshaphat when he was facing peoples from Edom and Moab. They were coming up to attack him. It's been also said that this is during the time of Uzziah in 2 Chronicles chapter 26. However, if those are the situations, then that is well after the period of Asaph's writing. So I'm not really sure that I agree that it's during those times. And there's nothing in the psalm to suggest when this is written. There's no precise historical marker. Although we can say it was written after the time of the Judges, because Judges 4 through 8 are mentioned in the third section I'll touch on this week on Wednesday, 9 through 12. During the time of Asaph, it's very well that he could have written this at that time because he's recalling historical information from the time of the Judges, and he's using that in the psalm. So I see no reason not to think that Asaph wrote this. He penned it. He used the historical information from the time of the Judges to tell this story. Let me go ahead and begin our reading this week, and I'll read verses 1 through 4 today. Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thine hidden ones. They have said, Come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. And that's verses 1 through 4. And so there's an enemy that's mentioned here. We have to first recognize that. And God is asked not to keep silence. Why? Because the enemy is saying something. So the first 4 verses here, God is asked not to keep silence because the enemy is not being silent. They're saying, Come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Now, this 4th verse sounds just like something we could read in our newspapers today. It's very contemporary. Sheikh Hassan al-Banna, back in August of 1948, when Israel was constituting as a nation, he said if Israel becomes a nation, the Arab states would rise up and drive them into the sea. And so that's become sort of a battle cry or a rallying cry for the Arab states today, and has been for, well, since 1950. So all this time we've had these words being used over and over, that Israel's going to be destroyed, that they're going to be cast off into the sea, and so forth. The Sheikh also said if the United States wants to come and pick them up, that's okay with him. So that idea that Israel will be cast off into the sea is something that's been said today. It was something that was said in the time of Asaph. And notice that it's his enemies are saying something against his people. They can't reach God, but what they want to do is touch those that worship him. and that's Israel, and that's also the church. So who's under the most persecution today? You look around the world, and anti-Semitism is on the rise, and persecution against the church all over the world is on the increase. So today, this psalm is of great relevance. It is very, very contemporary. I hope you'll join me for the remainder of the week as we look at Psalm 83 on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.